It is exactly 9 o'clock East African time. Good evening and a very warm welcome to the Daily Report right here on TV47, the home of untold stories. I am George Maringa. Our sign language interpreter tonight is Rhoda Nyamai. We thank you for choosing TV47 to inform you. As is the norm every Monday, we bring you the Power and Politics segment. And my guest tonight is none other than the Honorable Gathoni Wamuchomba. She has several hats that she wears. That of Member of Parliament for Githunguri constituency, as well as the chairperson for Constitutional Implementation and Oversight Committee. And also, over the weekend, we did see that she obtained a new title, Dr. Gathoni Wamuchomba. She is the guest tonight as we converse about several topics, state of the nation, as well as other issues affecting the country. We invite your feedback at hon_Wamuchomba is her X handle, at TV47 News, or you can post directly at George Maringa _ use the hashtag Daily Report, hashtag Power and Politics. Our SMS line is open already to 2047. Start with your name, where you're watching us from, followed by your question, comment, or feedback regarding the program tonight. We shall also be posting the WhatsApp number where you can send your feedback, as well as the line that you can call in live. Send in all your questions that you have for her. We shall be discussing the national issues, the budget issues, as well as matters affecting the mountain. Where are you watching us from? Thank you so much for tuning in. But before then, that conversation with my guest who will be live in the studio tonight will be coming your way in just about half an hour or so. But first, here's a glimpse of what's making headlines tonight. Tonight, UDA leadership drama uncovers more signs of a poorly kept secret. The principals appear to have disagreed in principle. And what's this about an impeachment motion? Gachagua defiantly dares. Plans to turn Eldoret into Kenya's new city run into headwinds of doubt as locals decry the state of infrastructure.
Lakini zetu ziko hapa tu ni ukiingia hivi ni kama bado umetoka, so bado.
And in the ever-twisting tale of hope and despair, the tug of war in Meru over the fate of Governor Kawira Mwangaza continues, this time triggering a bitter rift within the ranks of the Njurin Cheke.
Watoto wetu na mama yetu tuketi pamoja tuongee vile kile tunataka ni amani Meru.
We thank you for choosing TV47 to inform you. As always, our WhatsApp number will be on the screen shortly, as well as the call-in line. We also welcome those of us watching on terrestrial platforms, as well as the YouTube and our website. Let's begin with our top story. The dramatic turn of events leading to the ouster of Cleophas Malala from the position of UDA Secretary General has uncovered even more signs of an apparent rift between President William Ruto and his deputy Rigathi Gachagua. The NEC meeting that sealed Malala's fate was attended by key UDA officials last Friday. But in a new twist, Gachagua now claims to have been unaware of the ouster plan, let alone be consulted on Malala's removal. The DP sounding a defiant tone to his critics, daring them to kickstart the alleged impeachment process. Mike Kagwongo opens our broadcast tonight with the tremors in the ruling party.
The former Kakamega County Senator Cleophas Malala has been at loggerheads with the ruling party's founding leadership for close to 4 months now, culminating in his ouster barely a week ago. Sources at the UDA Plaza claim that the push for Malala's removal began in earnest 3 months ago, coinciding with the onset of tension between the second-in-command and his boss. He was seen as a Gachagua ally who subsequently prosecuted the DP's agenda in the party. However, sources say that this began to set him on collision course with the president's allies. The party's deputy leader was, however, shocked to learn that Malala had been fired from his position as a Secretary General. In an interview with Kikuyu vernacular media outlets on Sunday, Gachagua stated that he was neither notified nor consulted about intentions to remove Malala from his seat. Since the president had already excused himself after learning of agenda's content, the Malala's Oster meeting was hence designed to guarantee that the DP will not be present. Obviously, if the DP had been present, he ought to have presided over the NEC meeting in the president's absence. According to the sources at the UDA party, the meeting was scheduled for 7 a.m., but only individuals who supported Malala's removal received the 5 a.m. invitations. The dismissal of Malala marks the culmination of a 3-month drive to punch and eliminate Gachagua's allies, who are believed to be opposed to President Ruto's decisions. Since Malala's dismissal, the party's leadership has imposed access restrictions on over 34 employees, who are thought to be pro-Gachagua and pro-Malala. The deputy president also battered down the simmering threat of impeachment coming from the political quarters, affirming that while he knows of the plots, he is not bothered by them. Gachagua's comments come at the same time as rumors of secret meetings and plots to remove the country's second-in-command.
Ni presidenti akejira danajira ararehera ina andu ake guka guthukia thirikari ka kunyingata ajiriria aramarehe nigetha moke mateithiririe maundu maria meku na ngimwitikia koguo horo cio ndiragukua no.
According to sources, Gachagua is facing allegations of disloyalty, specifically inciting anti-government demonstrations that culminated to withdrawal of Finance Bill of 2024 and dissolution of the cabinet. Mike Kagwango, TV47, Nairobi.
And we shall be conversing that and much more with my guest tonight, the Honorable Gathoni Wamuchomba. President William Ruto signed the Supplementary Appropriations Act on Monday as the government intensifies budget cuts amid renewed austerity measures. The president assented to the bill after it was passed by the National Assembly on July 31st, 2024, as Chichi Josephine now tells us.
Days after the National Assembly passed the Supplementary Appropriation Bill, President William Ruto signed the bill into law on Monday.
I have the instructions of the Speaker of the National Assembly to present to you, Your Excellency, the Supplementary Appropriation Bill 2024, which speaks to the reduction.
A brief forwarded to the head of state by Parliament highlighted the delicate balance between necessary austerity measures and the need to caution the livelihoods of the people and the economy.
This presidential asset.
The new law safeguards key critical expenditures, including about 20 billion shillings to support farmers and enhance production and productivity. To support education reforms, the Supplementary Appropriations Act has allocated 120.7 billion shillings to, among other things, sort out the confirmation of all junior secondary school teachers, as 31.3 billion shillings goes to the Higher Education Loans Board. Further, the bill the president signed into law has allocated 16.2 billion shillings to funding health sector reforms and promoting universal health coverage. The new law will as well set aside 3.5 billion shillings for the enhancement of remuneration for officers serving in various agencies, in line with the recommendations of the National Task Force on Police Reforms. The total reduction for the national government stands at 145.7 billion shillings, consisting of 40 billion shillings for recurrent expenditure and 105 billion shillings in development expenditure. Out of the 145.7 billion shillings, the budget for the executive was cut by 139.81 billion shillings, while Parliament has lost 3.7 billion shillings and the judiciary 2.1 billion shillings. Budgets for the State House and the Office of the Deputy President were cut by 6 billion shillings, while the National Treasury lost 7 billion shillings.
The Supplementary Appropriation Bill
Chichi Josephine, TV47.
2024.
Thank you, Chichi, for that. Western Gishu County Governor Jonathan B. on Monday announced that Eldoret Town's elevation to city status, initially slated for August 8th, has been postponed to August 15th. Even so, residents have, however, raised concerns regarding the state of infrastructure in Eldoret, claiming that it does not fit to be called a city yet. Ann Odida with the details.
The commissioning of Eldoret Town as a city, initially scheduled for August 8, has been postponed to August 15 in order to give the county time to finalize on preparations. This will mark the first city conferment by President William Ruto.
Following the communication from the Office of the President, the conferment of city status to Eldoret Municipality has been postponed for a week from August the 8th, 2024 to August 15, 2024.
While some residents have raised concerns about the county's infrastructure readiness, businessmen and county leaders are looking forward to the potential benefits.
Bado ingali, lakini sababu ni hometown yake ametoka huku, lazima jue ni president improve hii town.
Bado tuko nyuma kwa sababu ukiangalia county zingine, angalia kama Nakuru, angalia administration hizo ma system kama mambo ya county ziko outskirt of town, lakini zetu ziko hapa tu. Ukiingia hivi ni kama bado umetoka. So bado
iwe na mpangilio, sehemu zote iwe na mpangilio. Kuliko sasa wewe unasema tunataka city, kama hujapanga mji wenyewe itakaa kwa njia gani? Watu watakesha itakaa namna gani? Soko itakuwa namna gani? Soko ya juu itapangwa namna gani? Wapi parking?
Although the decision has sparked debate, the municipality has long met the statutory conditions outlined in the Urban Areas and Cities Act, as confirmed in a letter from State House to Western Gishu Governor Jonathan B. last month. According to a 2019 data from the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics (KNBS), Eldoret's population of 475,716 surpasses the 250,000 resident requirement for city status.
Eldoret will be transformed. And I know as members of the business community, we are actually the main beneficiaries because we'll have many investors coming to this town.
The Senate had granted President William Ruto the authority to confer Eldoret with city status in January, setting the stage for it becoming Kenya's fifth city. Eldoret will join Nairobi, Mombasa, Kisumu and Nakuru, which received its city status in December 2021. President Ruto is expected to preside over the handing over of the city charter to the governor at a ceremony set to be held at the Eldoret Sports Club. Ann Odida, TV47.
Thank you, Ann, for that. After being known as a hotbed of insecurity for years, Maringa County is penning a new chapter after being crowned the 2024 Golden Destination through the 1,000 Lenses initiative. The world gears up for Tourism Day, themed Tourism and Peace. Maringa stands as a testament to the transformative power of tourism by promoting peace and understanding through the lens of a camera. 1,000 Lenses is working to bridge the gap between the county's troubled past and its promising future.
Kwa muda mrefu Baringo imekuwa ikijulikana ama kwa mtandao wa televisioni tunaona insecurity, tunaona lack of peace katika county ya Baringo, lakini kusema ukweli nimekuja Baringo, nimezuru Baringo mara kadhaa, na hiyo insecurity, hiyo lack of peace ni mahali padogo sana. So tunataka kubadilisha mawazo ya watu kuhusu Baringo.
Tumeweza kufungua huu mtandao ambao utaweza kuhusisha kila Mkenya kuweza kuonyesha mandhari tofauti katika nchi ya Kenya. Na kwa sasa tunaimisha kila Mkenya, hasa watu wa Baringo ambao ni Golden Destination 2024 ni Baringo. Tunawahimiza sana watu wa Baringo wajitokeze, watume picha zao, watume video zao katika mtandao 1000lenses.africa ili waweze kupata.
To County 012, and the motion to dismiss the Governor of Meru, Kawira Mwangaza, is expected to be voted on this Thursday as the County Assembly of Meru finalizes with public participation process on the same. John Javakiania tells us more about the matter that has left the Council of Elders at the crossroads.
The process of impeaching the Meru Governor Kawira Mwangaza seemed to be gaining momentum as today Meru County Assembly organized public participation to get opinions of the matter.
Tunaomba Senate, tafadhali, hii round akikuja huko please kwa unyenyekevu. Mtuhurumia kama watu wa Meru, mtuondolee huyu mtu, na kama haitakuwa sawa, juu mko Senate, mtaangalia muone tumeenda mzuri, kama hatutakuwa tumeenda mzuri, alafu mvunje county, si ndio?
We want to inform you that we are not against your power that we gave to you. You should again remember that power belongs to the people. We gave you power, you now overusing the power. We want to tell you, it is either ushuke ama ushuke.
This comes as the High Court Judge Lenas Kasani directed Governor Kawira Mwangaza and the MCAs to appear before Njuri Ncheke Council for mediation. This has led to a fallout within Njuri Ncheke Council of Meru leaders over the impeachment of Meru Governor Kawira Mwangaza, where the splinterring of the council has led to one faction claiming the council does not have the powers to unite the governor and the MCAs with the other dissenting.
Kwa hivyo sisi kama wazee hatuna capacity ya kuhandle case impeachment. Mambo ile tuna handle ni mambo ambayo ni civil ya kupatanisha watu. Kama vile tuliomba na president kuwapatanisha governor na MCs. Na hiyo tulimaliza kitambo na ripoti iko tayari kuenda kwa rais.
The council leadership led by the chairman Linus Kadhera, Secretary General Josephat Murangeri and the other leaders in response, saying the leaders could not implement the court order. But a faction led by Andriano Aruyaru stormed the shrine and they told their colleagues off, arguing that the Njuri Ncheke Council could implement the court order to listen to the warring parties and forward their report to the court.
Tunamwambia leo tuko na nguvu ya kuunganisha Meru County, watoto wetu na mama yetu, tuketi pamoja tuongee kile tunataka ni amani Meru. Tunasikia kuna barua ambayo imeandikwa ama memorandum ambayo imeandikwa. Hiyo memorandum tunaikana leo. Yetu ndio tutaandika kutoka leo.
Justice Kasani had on July 29th issued conservatory orders stopping the impeachment proceedings after nominated MCA Zipporah Kinyate Board 8 and set a ruling for August 28th this year. John Javakiania, TV47.
Thank you, John Javakiania. Meru health workers today stormed the Meru County government offices following complaints from workers over inadequate staffing, lack of promotions and other unresolved grievances. The health workers' strike has entered its 5th day, which has led to operations being paralyzed in all public facilities. The striking medics said that they were aggrieved that the executive had not honored a collective bargaining agreement CBA signed in October 2023.
Na sasa hivi tuko kwa governors county offices na sisi hatuna mambo mengi. Tumekuja kusema ya kwamba tunakujia promotion. It is unfortunate ya kwamba tumefika na hatujapata mtu wa kutukaribisha.
Mkazi wa afya wa Meru County tunataka kukumbusha the county government of Meru that we agreed that within 100 days of our leadership he will going to involve us in making arrangements to ensure that our health sector is well catered for. Today we are doing 3 years of our leadership and we have not seen any goodwill from her. And we want to be very categorical because this is something that we agreed on November last year. That if these things are not implemented in totality, we are not going back to our facilities. Thank you.
To agree na the county government that we shall be promoted. That has not happened 2 years down the line. What they have been telling us is that it doesn't have the budget. And as we are asking ourselves, until when this budget shall be passed without our issues, and they tell us they are waiting for the budget.
Airtel Kenya has today announced a new free data campaign dubbed GB kwa GB. The campaign is aimed at fueling the digital revolution in the country by enabling Kenyans upgrading their phones to experience the improved and stronger Airtel network. This offer is available for all customers who join Airtel network with a new smartphone and existing Airtel customers upgrading from a feature phone to a smartphone. Wanji Sustain has filed the following report.
Airtel Kenya has been one of the leading network providers in the country for a long period of time. Airtel has now launched a new free data campaign dubbed GB kwa GB. The campaign is aimed at fueling the digital revolution in the country. Speaking after the launch in Nairobi, the group managing director Ashish Malhotra affirmed that Airtel has consistently been a technology leader, as evidenced by its recent initiatives, innovations and offers.
We have been always committed to the agenda of digital inclusion by continuously investing in the network infrastructure, bringing in new technologies, and also launching innovative products, first of its kind in Kenya.
Malhotra stated that Airtel Kenya's investment in cutting-edge network technology is only meaningful if it reaches the hands of every Kenyan.
We believe that the customers will enjoy the GB kwa GB offer and get an opportunity to experience our improved and a stronger network. We at Airtel always believe that our offers have to be transparent and flexible and not be restrictive in any nature.
Key features of the GB kwa GB campaign includes free 1 GB data every week for 6 months. To enjoy this offer, a customer needs to top up a minimum of 50 shillings weekly, making the offer both accessible and affordable to a broad range of users. The free 1 GB data is valid for 3 days.
A customer will be able to enjoy 1 GB every week for 6 months. A customer will just need to top up 50 shillings or more to enjoy this offer. Any customer who joins the Airtel network with a smartphone qualifies for this offer. All our existing customers that have a feature phone or a 3G smartphone and they upgrade to a new smartphone which is either 4G or 5G, they qualify for this offer.
Traditionally, such offers were tied to specific handset models. Airtel's GB kwa GB offer will be accessible to all makes of smartphones, allowing a customer the freedom to choose any smartphone model of their liking. Wanji Sustain, TV47.
Thank you, Wanji. The fight against jiggers has been given a boost after Saraya Africa, in collaboration with Nagasaki University, launched an oil that prevents and kills these parasites, thereby reducing the impact in areas that have been heavily affected. Speaking at the event, various stakeholders praised the milestone of this journey, which has taken nearly 2 decades, all hopeful that this will be a complete solution to this problem that has affected approximately 1.4 million people in the country.
By addressing the jigger infestation, a condition that has long plagued rural, low-income communities, we are taking a vital step toward alleviating economic hardships and improving the overall quality of life.
These complications, they lead to disability, morbidity, and if you see the young children who we have cleaned today, really, they cannot even concentrate in class. I even doubt how they would get to class.
I can assure you, even if this medication is going to be cheaper than the way it used to be for treatment, but I can tell you, if this medication, even if it goes for nothing, those people cannot afford that nothing.
That's the jigger-infected households, where you can find a patient of jigger. That's a vulnerable household.
Tunapitia mengi sana. Nini sijui ni nini baya. Hizi jiga zimekuja halafu hakuna sijui ni nini. Tukiwatoa hakuna kuisha.
Indeed, that is good news coming in regarding that innovation of that special oil that will, of course, be able to ensure that the jiggers do not grow, affecting a population of 1.3 million Kenyans across the country. Also, remember tonight we have the conversation with my guest, Gathoni Constituency Member of Parliament, the Honourable Dr. Gathoni Wamuchomba, who is walking into studio just now. Stand by for that conversation and much more. August 1st to 7th is a week dedicated fully to acknowledge efforts of breastfeeding mothers in our lives and the lives of infants, as Maringa Wambugo sheds light on the story of love, strength, and endurance.
A special week to honor the unique journey of breastfeeding mothers worldwide, embodying strength, love, and resilience in the journey of taking care of infants while still managing their homes and eking out a living.
Mimi niko na changamoto kufanya kazi na niko na mtoto mdogo na siwezi kaa kwa nyumba, sababu nikikaa kwa nyumba watoto hawatapata chakula. Saa zile mtoto analia, inabidi nitafute msichana kama yule anakaa hapa ananishikashikia ndo nifanye kazi. At least hata yeye jioni ninampea hata kama ni 50.
This blessing sometimes comes at a high cost with a wide range of challenges.
Time unafanya kazi unakuanga na shida mingi, juu anataka kunyonyesha, hiyo time unaharakishwa, hata uwezi njua utaanza wapi na utamalizia wapi. Ni vizuri kupea, yani kunyonyesha mtoto, juu hiyo inakuanga muhimu kwa mtoto. Kitu ya kwanza njuu kama akuli itamsaidia.
Upate maziwa, sasa unapata mtoto kunyonya, ni stress, analia, hakuna vile umembreastfeed poa, lakini inabidi umeng'ang'ana tu ndo maisha isonge.
We delve into the depths of knowledge and guidance offered during this commemorative week. Their wisdom and encouragement echo across to all mothers, fostering a culture of understanding among breastfeeding families.
Kuna vitu ambazo sana sana naona watu wanapenda kupatia watoto. Maybe they might think they look cool. Zinaitwa pacifiers. Unapatia mtoto ananyonya kila wakati ananyonya, na hizo vitu huwa hazifai. Kitu cha kwanza unazuia hiyo mtoto kujiexpress. Kwa mfano kama mtoto ako na let's say shida fulani, maybe ako wet, maybe ako na njaa, badala ya kulia maybe anaendelea tu kunyonya tu, so hataweza labda hata kujieleza, na njia kujieleza ya mtoto ni hiyo kulia.
Breastfeeding helps with the bonding between mother and infant, because usually you would expect that there is skin to skin contact, and so this baby develops some emotional stability as well, so they feel that they are safe around the mother. There are quite a number of challenges that they get, some of them being sore nipple, engorged breasts, right? And this again is also because of how the child is breastfed. The wrong position can result in the nipples being sore. If you don't breastfeed adequately, then the breast will engorge because there's a lot of milk that is not being utilized.
Drink lots of fluids. Breast milk is primarily water, so you do need to drink a lot. The other thing is that avoid stress. You should avoid stress because, as we said, it's about the brain. So if there's stress, then the brain stops working, because then it inhibits the production of these hormones that we are talking about.
Supporting and encouraging breastfeeding moms is like shedding light to the mystery of nature. Maringa Wambuchomba, TV47.
Lovely. Thank you, Maringa Wambuchomba, for that report. Residents using the Kopsiro-Chepyuk Road in the Mount Elgon constituency have, in solidarity, marched to the Kenya Rural Roads Authority carer offices in Bungoma town to protest what they describe as the neglect of the road for many years, despite funds being allocated for its repair. Led by Richard Naibei, the residents stated that this is not the first time they have visited the carer offices to complain about the road's poor condition, noting that the road has not been repaired since 1999. This situation has caused significant challenges for residents when transporting crops from farms and for pregnant women, some of whom end up giving birth on the road.
Hatujaipewa ile reallocation tender na readvertisement of that road ama cancellation ya hii tender ingine. Ya pili yenye imetusumbua akili sana, baada ya kujibiwa hayo tumejaribu tena kufuatilia hiyo ofisi. Tumepata tena barua nyingine ambayo inasunguka na inasungushwa na mjumbe wa Mlima Elgon kwamba hiyo barabara yetu tena sasa haiko under care.
Kuna mama mmoja alijifungulia hapo Chepkoika na mtoto akakufa. Imagine barabara ingekuwa mzuri angefikishwa Kapketeny ama Kipsoen ama Kopsiro.
Barabara zingine ambazo zimewekwa kera zimelimwa lakini ya Chebiuk. Na tumeuliza kwa upole, kwa unyenyekevu. Mpaka leo hii ni mara ya 4 tukikuja hii ofisi ya serikali tukiuliza. Lakini ya ajabu kwamba watu ya kera ametutoroka kwa hii ofisi.
And we look forward and hope that that situation will be resolved. You're watching the Daily Report right here on TV47. We are taking a short break, but when we come back in just a short while, we will be joining, or rather our guest, Gathoni Wamuchomba, the Member of Parliament for Githunguri constituency. He will be joining us instead for that important conversation on our segment tonight, Power and Politics. Do stay with us.
Hey there friends, welcome to Kids on the Block, where fun and imagination come alive. We dive into magical world filled with exciting adventures and awesome friends.
What position were you in?
I was number 2.
What position were you?
Number 1.
He decided to cross the bridge by his house and look for food on the other side.
We're going to do half cup of chocolate chips, and the other one, we're going to do half cup of the blueberries.
So, grab your imagination hats and get ready to explore with us. Join us every Saturday at 9 a.m. for new friends, amazing stories, and tons of laughter.
Join us as we explore the journeys of those who defy the odds and break barriers. We dive deep into the stories of triumph.
Sometimes when parenting a child with a special need or whatever disability, family life becomes a bit complicated and you may end up raising the child on your own.
Here, we inspire.
I have a farm which one we showcase with other dyslexic youths and autism, how to farm.
Motivate.
It's never easy, but what we do, the best thing is to work with another parent who has an elder child than yours.
And break through the barriers one story at a time. Push your boundaries beyond the limit. Saturdays at 8 p.m. The Grind, where business meets brilliance. It's not just about the ideas.
I was working as a shampoo boy
I used to wash clients' hair on the sink.
It's about making them happen. From big wins
In primary school, when we would be asked what people want to be, I was categorical that I want to be a nurse.
to hard lessons,
The consoles change, the gaming equipment keep changing.
we cover it all. Tune in to The Grind, where every episode is packed with insights,
The person who is serving customers, always be a customer centric.
strategies,
When you pay attention to detail, you get luxury items.
and stories to fuel your ambition. Don't just dream it, grind it. Mondays at 7:30 p.m.
Jiunge nasi tunapoangazia safari za viongozi bora. Kutoka kwa ushindi mkubwa hadi masomo magumu.
Wakati wetu kwamba wasichana si wa kusoma, ni wa kuolewa, ng'ombe ipatikane, wazazi wakuwe watajiri.
Tunashughulikia
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. You're watching the Daily Report with me, George Maringa, and Rhoda Nyamai on sign language. Bangladesh Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina resigned and fled the country on Monday after hundreds of people were killed in a crackdown on demonstrations that began as protests against job quotas and swelled into a movement demanding her downfall. Up next is sport, but before then, just to remind you tonight, we speak to the Honorable Gathoni Wamuchomba, Dr. Gathoni Wamuchomba, on several issues affecting the country. She's already here in studio. Keep your feedback, questions or comments coming. Start with your name, where you're watching us from, followed by whatever you may have from Heshimiwa. A question or comment is very welcome. Now, let's get sporty. Team Kenya will be hoping to win the first Paris Olympics gold.
Hey there friends, welcome to Kids on the Block, where fun and imagination come alive. We dive into magical world filled with exciting adventures and awesome friends.
What position were you in? I was number 2.
What position were you?
Number 1.
He decided to cross the bridge by his house and look for food on the other side.
We're going to do half cup of chocolate chips, and the other one, we're going to do half cup of the blueberries.
So, grab your imagination hats and get ready to explore with us. Join us every Saturday at 9 a.m. for new friends, amazing stories, and tons of laughter.
Join us as we explore the journeys of those who defy the odds and break barriers. We dive deep into the stories of triumph.
Sometimes when parenting a child with a special need or whatever disability, family life becomes a bit complicated and you may end up raising the child on your own.
Here, we inspire.
I have a farm which one we showcase with other dyslexic youths and autism how to farm.
Motivate.
It's never easy, but what we do, the best thing is to work with another parent who has an elder child than yours.
And break through the barriers one story at a time. Push your boundaries beyond the limit. Saturdays at 8 p.m. The Grind, where business meets brilliance. It's not just about the ideas.
I was working as a shampoo boy. I used to wash clients' hair on the sink.
It's about making them happen. From big wins.
In primary school, when we would be asked what people want to be, I was categorical that I want to be a nurse.
To hard lessons.
The consoles change, the gaming equipment keep changing.
We cover it all. Tune in to The Grind, where every episode is packed with insights.
The person who is serving customers, always be a customer-centric.
Strategies.
When you pay attention to detail, you get luxury items.
And stories to fuel your ambition. Don't just dream it, grind it. Mondays at 7:30 p.m.
Jiunge nasi tunapoangazia safari za viongozi bora. Kutoka kwa ushindi mkubwa hadi masomo magumu.
Wakati wetu kwamba wasichana si wa kusoma, ni wa kuolewa, ng'ombe ipatikane, wazazi wakuwe watajiri.
Tunashughulikia yote.
I wish I were a better investor.
My parents taught me how to look for things for myself.
Tazama Mfahamu Kiongozi, ambapo kila kipindi kimejaa maarifa, mikakati na hadithi za kukuza azma yako.
For me to succeed, I have to fight.
Kila Alhamisi saa 1:30.
Hey there friends, welcome to Kids on the Block, where fun and imagination come alive. We dive into magical world filled with exciting adventures and awesome friends.
What position were you in? I was number 2.
What position were you?
Number 1.
He decided to cross the bridge by his house and look for food on the other side.
We're going to do half cup of chocolate chips, and the other one, we're going to do half cup of the blueberries.
So, grab your imagination hats and get ready to explore with us. Join us every Saturday at 9 a.m. for new friends, amazing stories, and tons of laughter.
Join us as we explore the journeys of those who defy the odds and break barriers. We dive deep into the stories of triumph.
Sometimes when parenting a child with a special need or whatever disability, family life becomes a bit complicated and you may end up raising the child on your own.
Here, we inspire.
I have a farm which one we showcase with other dyslexic youths and autism how to farm.
Motivate.
It's never easy, but what we do, the best thing is to work with another parent who has an elder child than yours.
And break through the barriers one story at a time. Push your boundaries beyond the limit. Saturdays at 8 p.m. The Grind, where business meets brilliance. It's not just about the ideas.
I was working as a shampoo boy. I used to wash clients' hair on the sink.
It's about making them happen. From big wins.
In primary school, when we would be asked what people want to be, I was categorical that I want to be a nurse.
To hard lessons.
The consoles change, the gaming equipment keep changing.
We cover it all. Tune in to The Grind, where every episode is packed with insights.
The person who is serving customers, always be a customer-centric.
Strategies.
When you pay attention to detail, you get luxury items.
And stories to fuel your ambition. Don't just dream it, grind it. Mondays at 7:30 p.m.
Jiunge nasi tunapoangazia safari za viongozi bora. Kutoka kwa ushindi mkubwa hadi masomo magumu.
Wakati wetu kwamba wasichana si wa kusoma, ni wa kuolewa, ng'ombe ipatikane, wazazi wakuwe watajiri.
Tunashughulikia yote.
I wish I were a better investor.
My parents taught me how to look for things for myself.
Tazama Mfahamu Kiongozi, ambapo kila kipindi kimejaa maarifa, mikakati na hadithi za kukuza azma yako.
For me to succeed, I have to fight.
Kila Alhamisi saa 1:30.
Welcome back. You're watching the Daily Report with me, George Maringa, at TV47 News, as well as at George Maringa _ are the handles you can use on X, formerly Twitter. You can tweet to my guest directly at _Wamuchomba. Dr. Gathoni Wamuchomba, Honorable Dr. Gathoni Wamuchomba, the Member of Parliament for Githunguri constituency. is our guest tonight right here on the program. 22047 is our SMS line. Start with your name, where you're watching us from, followed by your question, comment, or feedback regarding the show tonight, even as we embark on a myriad of issues. And thank you so much for joining us and staying with us so far.
Thank you.
Kabisa.
You know where I come from, we call you Maringa.
Maringa. That's good.
Maringa means somebody who is, what? Somebody who hits it, you know. Maringa. Kuringa is kugonga, yes.
Kuringa.
Yes.
Oh, asante.
So when you hit us politically, we say, here, there is Maringa, ring us.
Nice. That's quite.
Yeah. You're doing well, though.
I'm good, and you?
Well done. You're doing very well. I've been following your content. I'm very particular about content.
Yes.
And you're doing a very good job.
Asante.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah. You have very good content.
Asante.
Which glue us to your screen.
Asante.
Yep.
And of course, the rest of the colleagues, I'll have them know.
Yes, please let them know that we appreciate the content that they bring to us.
Of course.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Asante sana.
Karibu.
And talking about, the activities, we've seen what has been happening politically. Of course, a space that you entered quite over a decade ago.
Yeah.
And you've seen how it has been going. Over the weekend, coming hot on the heels of the vetting, public vetting of the cabinet secretary nominees, various of them coming in several positions, especially what has happened in what has been termed as the broad-based government. I'd like to pick your mind on this broad-based government, what you make of it, as Gathoni Wamuchomba, as Member of Parliament, as well a member of the UDA party.
Kwanza kabisa, allow me to just say hi to my voters in Githunguri and my fans who follow me on X, those who follow me on Facebook, and of course my wonderful voters of Githunguri who have given me the power to represent them as their delegate. I keep telling them I'm their delegate, I'm not their trustee. And therefore, whatever I do, especially the way I vote in Parliament and the way I represent matters in Parliament, I do so on behalf of the people of Githunguri. And I want to thank them for trusting me and for giving me the opportunity to be their delegate in the National Assembly of Kenya, 13th Parliament. Maringa, you've asked me my feelings and my opinion regarding the government, the broad-based government.
Yes.
When I was coming in here, somebody called me and he asked me, are you voting for so-and-so and for so-and-so? And I asked him, why are you asking me those questions? And he told me, because I just wanted to know your thoughts, because nowadays when you speak things, we doubt you, but eventually we prove you right. And I told that person, I personally think, and this is my personal opinion, you can crucify me for my personal opinion.
Yes.
You're calling it broad-based
government. The president called it broad-based government.
I will call it a broad-based government of trouble. It's a broad-based coalition of trouble.
Coalition even?
Whatever it is, what broad-base? It is bringing together Kenyans' problem together. Yeah? And I'm glad they are coming together because they will fall together. Okay. The reason why I'm saying that is because you cannot wipe a table using a steel wire and expect not to get a scratch on the surface of that table. If you use a steel wire, expect to get the scratches. From the historical perspective of the political alignment in this country, you can't sense a problem ahead and retrogress to look for a solution. You can only look for a solution ahead, not retrogressing. So for me, I'm not hopeful that the broad-based so-called government is going to give us any solution. In fact, I sympathize with my friend, Buddy. He's my friend. Whenever I had attacks from my colleagues in the Kenya Kwanza coalition in Parliament as we debated, he would always protect me. I remember there's a time we had a verbal altercation with majority leader, and he's the one who came through and defended me very fiercely. He has always defended me. So I'm conflicted. I don't know whether I should support Buddy to become a cabinet minister for a broke government, because it is broke. And Buddy being a very efficient lawmaker and an accountant, as I know him, I sympathize with him. Because what is he going to work with? There is no money. Which money is he going to work for? I mean, how is he going to behave in that treasury, which is broke? So I sympathize with them. In as much as they come from a different party from my party, that doesn't bother me anymore, because I've realized that politics is a game of competing ideas and changing of paradigms and changing of covers. It's the same book. We only replace the cover. Yes. So the only worry I have is that we are doing what we call transferred aggression in psychology, where you transfer your problems and your anger and your bitterness from this aspect of life to this other aspect of life without providing a solution. So to me, that is a transferred aggression. I don't see anything. I'm sorry, that's my opinion. I don't see any hope.
So would you be voting to adopt or drop the report?
I am still doing my maths, but I'm 100% sure my conscience will not allow me to vote for some people. Yeah.
Okay.
My conscience will not allow me. Yeah, so there are people I have marked already without first of all listening. But I've gone to my ground in Githunguri today. I was in Githunguri. Last week I was in Githunguri. And my people are telling me, don't pass some characters. And I'm asking them why. And they have, watu wamesoma, watu wamegugu, they have reasons.
They have reasons.
Yeah, they're telling me so-and-so because of this, so-and-so because of this, so-and-so because of this. So there are some few characters that have been told by my own people, don't give them votes. But there are some people my people don't have a problem with.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think that this will get you in trouble again with your party?
Trouble? Which trouble?
And, defiance, as you have...
Which defiance?
Because it is expected the majority will pass this.
Which defiance are you talking about? I went into parliament to do my parliamentary work. Voting yes or no is my parliamentary work. And it is my obligation to decide on what I think my people want. So if my people tell me they are not happy with this, do I continue voting for it even when they don't want it?
No.
Ukiona kofia ikianguka, ikuonyesha ya kwamba nimechoka. Ukiona ikianguka hivi,
hizi kofia ulitoa wapi?
Ina complain.
It's a new...
Wacha nibadilishe style. Ama niweke tu vile mnavalianga. The other way around.
The other way around.
Ukiona ikianguka nikuonyesha nimechoka. Leo nimechoka. Nimekuwa na maboys huko ground.
Wanasema nini?
Maboys waliniambia, unajua wananitanga madhe. Kako sawa?
Kako sawa.
Ukiona niko hivyo iko sawa.
Iko sawa. Anakitanga madhe.
Wananitanga madhe.
And by the way they say
leo wamenikaza. Wameniambia madhe usituangushe. Ukienda huko bunge usituangushe. Ile Kiingereza yako unatwanga. Ukienda huko utwange tena. Alafu ikifika pale ni kwa kuvote usituwekee fulani. Wameniambia I already know my cards. Yes. And for me as a member of parliament, I've said, I am not a trustee, I am a delegate. And when you're a delegate, when you go to any place where you have to decide, you do what your people sent you to do. So I'm a humble delegate.
You're a humble delegate.
Yeah.
So then ideally what should, because the young people, the Gen Z asked for, dissolution of the cabinet.
Yeah.
Ideally what should have the president done? Because it was an opportunity for him to redeem himself in the face of the young people.
I think, to be very honest, and I want to be very candid here, I don't blame the Gen Zs because, of course, most of them are not in parliament, so they may not know the knobs to touch when they want things done. But the right knob to have touched would not have been the cabinet. Because the cabinet, in as much as we were annoyed with them, we were bitter with them because they showed opulence, they were arrogant, some of them. They even told us to chimba our own mafuta. Do you remember last year?
Yes.
When one of the cabinet secretaries said, kama unakasirika na mafuta imeenda juu, chimba yako, chimba kisima chako.
Yes.
In as much as we were so mad at them, I think we threw the missile to the wrong quarters. Because if really Gen Zs wanted to change, they should have started with the house that makes laws that are the pillar or the fundamental baseline towards laws that makes change. Cabinets just sit and wait for us to make for them laws. All right? So if you really are annoyed with finance bill, where should you go? You should go to that parliament where laws are made. But you see, if you insist on crumbling the cabinet is just a council of people who sit and implement what parliament make. They implement the budget, they implement the laws and the policies. So even after we reconstitute the cabinet, without having to change parliament, we are doing zero work.
Well, one may argue they came and occupied it.
Occupying what? I mean, occupying and making noise doesn't make anything change. What has changed? After they occupied, we went back to parliament and we started passing laws, kama kawaida. So I don't think they made a lot of impact. Okay, they made a lot of noise, that was noise. But if they were really impactful, they would have come up with demands that should have guided them towards making sure that there's completely impactful change in parliament. Because that parliament, like I've said in the past, it's a funny parliament. We pass a finance law that can affect your life and my life in 3 hours. And no debate. And because the president's party and president coalition has the majority, everything is done by kifua. I mean, let's pass this. We have the numbers. Aye, and then we pass. Aye, then we pass. Then I sit and wonder, how can we make such laws like, important laws like finance bill? A law that can close this station. A law that can determine the success or failure of business enterprises and factories. A law that can actually retrogress this country or can catapult this country to excellence. But we can't make such a law in 3 hours. When the Gen Zs came to parliament, we had just passed finance bill in 3 hours.
In 3 hours.
In 3 hours, and people are just, ikafika pahali, those that were rejecting the bill decided not just to say reject the bill, reject the bill, because these people are not even giving you an opportunity to debate as to why you are rejecting. You know, so it became a song of reject the bill and aye, reject the bill, aye, reject the bill, aye.
What song were you singing?
Of course, I had rejected it very seriously. And even if it came back, I would still reject if it has some aspect of taxation that I felt were very punitive, very unprocedural, in line outside this constitution, and very irregular.
Absolutely. Hold on to that point. Let's pay our bills. We'll be back in a short while. I can see your questions, your comments to Mheshimiwa coming in. You're watching the Daily Report. You're back in a short while. Just stay with us.
Hey there friends, welcome to Kids on the Block, where fun and imagination come alive. We dive into magical world filled with exciting adventures and awesome friends.
What position were you in? I was number 2.
What position were you?
Number 1.
He decided to cross the bridge by his house and look for food on the other side.
You're going to do half cup of chocolate chips, and the other one, we're going to do half cup of the blueberries.
So, grab your imagination hats and get ready to explore with us. Join us every Saturday at 9 a.m. for new friends, amazing stories, and tons of laughter.
Join us as we explore the journeys of those who defy the odds and break barriers. We dive deep into the stories of triumph.
Sometimes when parenting a child with a special need or whatever disability, family life becomes a bit complicated and you may end up raising the child on your own.
Here, we inspire.
I have a farm which one we showcase with other dyslexic youths and autism how to farm.
Motivate.
It's never easy, but what we do, the best thing is to work with another parent who has an elder child than yours.
And break through the barriers one story at a time. Push your boundaries beyond the limit. Saturdays at 8 p.m.
Welcome back. Thank you so much for staying with us. You're watching the Daily Report with my guest tonight, the Honourable Gathoni Wamuchomba, Member of Parliament for Githunguri constituency, who is also the chairperson, by the way, of CIOC, Constitutional Implementation and Oversight Committee. So as it stands, are we implementing this constitution as it should? And of course, your guess, your response is anyone's guess.
Yeah, we are completely out of the constitution alignment. And it is our duty as members of parliament, because our core business in the National Assembly is to oversight. And like you have rightly put it, I am the chair of the committee that oversees the implementation, whether we are rightly on course or we are off course.
Of course.
We are completely off course. One, it cannot be that after we made this constitution in the year 2010, I participated in the making of this constitution. I was very young. I think I was hardly 23 years old. I remember one meeting we did at the 844 hall when we were debating matters land, and I was kicked out of a forum by the chair of that subcommittee, chaired by the Yashpal guy. You remember Professor Yashpal guy? I don't know whether you were born then. And so I feel very, very... I feel a bit depressed when I see us running a government and we are blatantly not aligning ourselves to this constitution. You know, I'm sure you've heard such stories of people who have been abducted.
Yes.
You have heard many stories of people who have been arbitrarily arrested. You have had many stories of people who have been killed.
Recently,
and dumped.
7 bodies.
I read an article somewhere yesterday that there are very many bodies at the city mortuary, and those are unidentified bodies, which apparently in the city mortuary were brought in that month of protest. But I want to speak because this constitution, Article 28, talks about human dignity, that every person has inherent dignity and the right to have that dignity respected and protected. That dignity includes when you're trying to arrest anybody, including myself. There is a style you're supposed to use to respect that dignity of that person, whether he's wrong or not wrong, because the only way to determine whether he's wrong or not wrong is when you present him to court. This Constitution, Article 29, I've just read 28. 29 says, every person has a right to freedom and security of person, which includes the right not to be, 1, deprived of freedom arbitrarily or without just cause. B, detained without trial, except during a state of emergency, in which case the detention is subject to Article 58. And many other forms of violence that I cannot read. It is from A to F of this Constitution.
Yes.
So I will also go to Article 31 that says right to privacy. Every person has a right to privacy, which includes the right not to have their person or home or property searched. You can't walk into somebody at 3 a.m. and search that person without a warrant of arrest, without a court order, right? Their possessions seized. You know, there are people who are reporting that once they are in the hands of the police, their phones are taken away, And then C, information relating to their family or private affairs unnecessarily required or revealed. When you flash my phone, for example, you take my phone and you flash, you want to know whom I spoke to, which WhatsApp message I got from George, how the pictures looks like. It's against this constitution. You can't do that. You can't do that. I mean, this is the constitution. If really we want to have a country tomorrow, we must abide by the constitution.
And these are vices that we've seen being...
Yeah, it's apparent. It's happening everywhere. The other day, I got some student telling me that their own university administrators are the ones giving out their telephone numbers and every detail of their student leaders. And then those student leaders are abducted and they are arrested and then their phones are flashed. That means when you go to the university gate, by the time you come in, somebody grabs you at the university gate, not at the police station, at the university gate. And then they search your phone, and then they read all your messages, and they delete all your messages. And that's a university administration, because apparently they've been told by the police to do that. I mean, it's not right. I mean, that person, even if he's a student, has their right enshrined in this constitution. So for me as a member of parliament, you can hate me or love me, but that is the constitution that we made to uphold the rule of law in this country. So if we cannot uphold the rule of law in this country, tomorrow we'll go to anarchy. Tomorrow we will not govern this country. So the president and the Kenya Kwanza government must always remember, there is politics and there is governance, and you can't mix the two. Politics is politics, governance is governance. If the police are independent and they're supposed to do their work, let them do their work as directed by the Constitution of Kenya.
So does it mean...
So for me as a chair of, you asked me a question,
Yes.
For me as a chair of a committee that oversight the implementation of the Constitution, I cannot keep mum when such things are happening in broad daylight, and we seem to have normalized it, and it is okay for people to be arrested, it is okay for people to be abducted. No, I don't think that is right. If we allow that to happen, then we are retrogressing back in the year 2001, 2003, 1999, when we used to have torture chambers, when we used to have people silenced even from the freedom of expression. So I'm just getting worried because this constitution has made Kenya a very special country. We were actually the mother of democracy in Africa. It's the only Kenya where people felt like our constitution upheld the rule of law and gave people the freedom that we yearned for many years. But unfortunately, it is now this year that we have started losing the gains and getting into bad books. Into bad books because I'm reading even international watchdogs are now complaining that we are suppressing the right to freedom of communication, the right to expression, the right even to movement. I mean, this is something that is uncalled for.
So did these protests, deliver something? The moment of protest, did it deliver anything that then, so much then that more subversion of this constitution in the way of those abductions, what the example you've given of the students, did it deliver a moment one? And two, what then is the way out for Kenyans in all this?
First of all, I want to go to Article 37 of this constitution.
Right to picket.
The right to assembly, demonstration, picketing, and petition. I do believe that the Gen Zs were practicing the right to assembly, to demonstrate, to picket, and to petition. And all we needed to do is to give them the ample environment for them to present their public petition to public authorities in a peaceful manner. But the kind of restriction we put, especially to the Gen Zs that were walking towards Parliament, the restriction we did made it more chaotic. I remember there was a Sunday when the Gen Zs had gone to pray. I think they had gone to pray and to honor their fallen heroes. That Sunday, the police abstained from restricting them to the freedom of worship. And there was no single chaos in Nairobi, and there were very many of them. The minute the police try to restrict, to bar them, I think they ignite some anger, and therefore a conflict always erupts. If we allowed these children to just petition, there are so many people who come to Parliament on a daily basis to petition Parliament. For example, for about 50 plus days, the doctors were on the streets. They kept coming to Parliament gates every other afternoon, and they brought their petition. Did we see people being killed? Did we see? Because they were allowed to bring their petition. So bringing petition to public authorities, to any public authority, including county government, it is within this constitution. And it is our constitution. So I think, for me, this demonstration have taught us some new lessons. One, in as much as we love and we respect our police force, our police service, let me call it service, although they have been behaving like a police force, because a police force doesn't reason. A police service do reason. A police force uses force on anything. We have realized and we have learned that we may need to go back to the drawing board and retrain our police officer from the thoughts and the perspective of a force to the thoughts and perspective of a service body.
Okay.
Because we transformed our police from police force to police service. Because we wanted them to treat Kenyans in respect to this constitution.
Service delivery.
But it looks like it is no longer service delivery, it's more of a force to push for whatever they want. So we may need to go back to the drawing board and ask ourselves whether we have achieved, having invested the billions of money we invest with our police, have we achieved?
Nane is coming up based on that article of, exercising of that Article 37. First, as...
The only thing I have a problem with
Yes.
on the Nane thing and the Gen Z thing is that you can't keep on pushing and saying you are leaderless, you are, okay, tribeless we accept. What is the other one they say, the formless?
Partyless.
Partyless, we accept. But you can't say you are leaderless, because now when you say you are leaderless, it means then many other thugs can hide within you and can execute their objective within you, because we don't know the leader, we don't know who is in charge. And even when it comes to issues of negotiations, for example, they had a golden opportunity. When the president said, I want to engage you on X, I wish they ran away with that opportunity. I wish all of them camped there. I wish they came out in their thousands numbers and spoke the same thing, because they're speaking the same thing. But this issue of being amorphous is a bit confusing, and they may be demonstrating every Tuesday, every Thursday, and achieving nothing. I just wish, because they are adults, they can just agree. We need to have a group of us to go and negotiate on our behalf. But the way they are doing it, okay, I understand that maybe they are hiding from arrest. I may understand maybe they are fearing, being...
The leaders may be bribed.
Yes, the leaders may be bought off. That happens a lot in political arena. But I don't think they are going to achieve much, like I said, if they don't change their styles, because their style is already vulnerable to infiltration by other interested parties. And like you saw the other day when they came to the streets and there were other goons that were also in the street, and you saw what happened. So that is a loophole. I don't know how they're going to take it, but I don't want to look like I am watering down what they have achieved.
Yes.
The Gen Zs have achieved, because finally we have somebody who can call out for opulence, people who can call out for corruption,
Yes.
people who can call out for misrepresentation in Parliament. I think they have achieved quite much. Yeah, they have even told us not to overspend in churches. They have stopped us from the opulence that we show in churches when we go for those harambes. They've told us, stop it. And they're right, because if you earn 1 million shillings or less in a month,
Yes.
where on earth do you get 5 million every other Sunday to go and donate in church if you are not stealing? So those are some of the things that I think we should applaud them for.
Yeah.
And we should also applaud them for courage and boldness. Yeah, they have shown us that they care about this country.
So
they have shown us that they care about the future of this country, and they are interested in generational wealth other than personal wealth.
Yes,
I hope you get what I'm saying.
Yes,
yeah.
I get.
They are very much interested in generational wealth. other than just personal wealth. And some of them are children who come from even very, very able families. They're children who do not have a problem with food and dress and houses, but they went to the street because they are not interested in what is here. They are interested in the future of this country. And that's very commendable.
The president has been speaking about several things, promising compensation, going after those who were rogue elements in these whole demonstrations.
Yeah.
As CIOC chair, have you seen anything in the way of goodwill? Do we need legislation? Whereas the promises are being made, what do we need in line with that constitution to be done so that we see, okay, fine, in the wake of these last 2 months, these promises have been kept in this manner?
According to the Kenya National Human Rights Commission, if I'm not wrong, about 60 young people have been killed for the last 1.5 months out of those protests and demonstrations. I haven't had the government come out very clearly on a compensation plan because the president said during one of his addresses to the nation that the government of Kenya is going to do compensation. Even those that were in hospitals, we were told they are going to be taken care of, the bills are going to be paid, but we haven't seen any follow-up. We may not maybe grill them so much, especially on the medication bills, because now he has no cabinet secretary for health. So the PS may hide with that excuse and say, I don't have a boss, so I may not be able to give a way forward. But George,
yes,
losing 60 lives is not just any other activity. This is a very serious issue, and it is our sincere hope that the police are going to allow people to express themselves without violence, because the police are the ones who are actually creating violence, like I said.
Okay.
If you bar people from doing what they believe is right, they will definitely protest and protest against you. So I hope the police will just make sure that they protect the protected areas where they do not allow people to access. For example, if the protesters want to go to State House, that's a protected area. If the protesters want to go to Parliament, that's a protected area. If the protesters want to go to Kenyatta Avenue, they are free to do so, because Kenyatta Avenue is not a protected area. But I think the police don't know what not to protect and what not to, to allow. Because I wonder why a police officer would be engaging protesters on the tarmac road in Kenyatta Avenue. You can fight people if they come, for example, to this studio and say, this is a protected area, we are not going to allow you. But you can't fight protesters everywhere, including in the streets, including in their houses. We saw them follow protesters in Pipeline Estate. We saw them follow protesters in Upper Murema Drive, following even to the houses. So I don't understand to what extent the police are supposed to do it, but according to the Constitution, I don't think that is right. So we as members of Parliament have a duty to ask questions.
Okay.
And my committee that I chair as the chair of a
CIOC
committee that oversees the implementation of the Kenyan Constitution, we have a lot of questions to ask to IPOA. Who killed who? How did so-and-so kill so-and-so? And the other day I saw the chairman of IPOA protest saying that they are trying to get information from the police, they are not getting anything. It will settle down and we will get down to it.
But these reports, Mheshimiwa, what will they do when, as a committee, you sit and have a report? Shall we see proper action?
Well, all I can commit as the chair is that we will do our part.
Okay.
Our part is to oversight and ask questions. What happened?
Okay.
Who did what? That is our work. After that, it's upon the people mandated by this constitution, the judiciary, to take over from there because they are independent.
Okay.
It's upon the other bodies that are mandated by this constitution to take relevant and required actions.
Stanley is asking, should this parliament be disbanded or dissolved?
To be very, very honest, this is the most dummy parliament we have had for many years. Even before I was elected as a member of parliament in 2017, I worked very closely with the parliamentarians because, of course, I was on microphone and I needed to, to understand exactly what was going on in parliament. But I can tell you this one is the most dummy I've ever seen. I mean, this is a choir where people sing songs in the name of making laws. And that really annoys me. We no longer have debaters of the late Shikuku of that world. We no longer have those debaters of the Koigi Wamweres. We no longer have the debaters we used to have, people who would really put facts on the table, the Jakoyo Midiwas of this world. And it is not that we don't have the materials. By the way, we have very good members of parliament, some of them very learned, some of them very able. But the environment created by the amazingly big numbers, controlling smaller numbers, is what is actually taking the independence of parliament and the neutrality of parliament away. Yeah, so we may need to change the way we've been doing things if you want to be credible.
Okay.
But the fact that the Gen Zs came into parliament to protest over our voting patterns, I think, to me, that's my opinion. You can crucify me for my opinion, that's okay. But to me, parliament was desecrated. And so we may need to redeem the image of parliament. And the only way out, if we really need change, you don't complain when the food is on the table that the food is oversalted. If you realize the food is oversalted, you go back to the kitchen. The kitchen of lawmaking and decision making is parliament. So if really we need to change this country, pushing the president will not help us, because he is also acting in line with the laws. For example, if you accuse him of affordable housing, he will tell you, I'm not the one who passed the law. He will tell you, point blank, you, a member of parliament, passed the law on affordable housing. I am just an implementer. Because presidency is very different from parliament. So I don't know why people are complaining, oh, President Ruto has brought affordable housing. It is very, very punitive. But your member of parliament passed it in parliament. So even if you accuse the president, what do you want him to do? And your member of parliament is the one who passed. You are accusing him of bringing punitive taxes, but he is not the one who passed the law. It is your member of parliament who passed that law. So the problem is not presidency. I am not trying to sanctify presidency. He has his own weaknesses, very many, including being inconsistent in what he says. Today he says this, tomorrow he says this, the other day he says this, and you know his weaknesses. But if really we want to help him and to salvage this country into soberness, and we want systems to work in this country, deal with the kitchen of the problem. And the kitchen of the problem in this country, it is Parliament of Kenya.
Raila Odinga said the president called him to help him manage issues.
Hizo ni siasa.
So then your party, UDA...
Raila said he was called.
Yes. Your party, UDA, is it imploding? I mean, we've seen the efforts to unseat this and that, this and that, in, leadership of that party. What's happening in your party?
I don't know. I also don't know.
Are you a member of that party?
Of course, yes, very much.
But how come you don't know?
I don't know, because, you know, I am not the party leader.
Okay.
I am not the secretary general of the party. I'm not the spokesperson of the party. I'm also reading as you read. And then, of course, I'm not even in the WhatsApp group of the party.
Did you leave or were you exited?
I was exited, long time. Last year when I voted no for finance bill. Yes, and then I also went public and I said, the cabinet that you people have insisted should be fired. I said it publicly, that if it was me being consulted over that cabinet, I wouldn't have passed it. And I voted no for it last year. Yeah. So it has been 2 years of wrangles and tangles, and it has been 2 years of voting consistently no over many things, because I felt like that's not the government of Pesa Mfukoni, the one we promised people. So I was accused of going against the party wishes. And for sure, you can, if you really know Gathoni, who Gathoni is, then you will understand me.
Yes.
I mean, for me, there are some things that just can't pass. They just can't pass.
How does, I mean, when you say I mean, who from the party? The party in general? Who exactly?
I mean, there are party members who feel like they are the prefects of the others. Yeah, they are the ones who control the WhatsApp group. They will exit you, they will add you, they will remove you.
I mean,
and they will brag in a funeral that I removed Wamuchomba because she voted no.
So how does
but that doesn't bother me,
how does the party perceive your opinions in terms of the party leadership then? The party leader and the deputy party leader. Have you had a conversation?
I don't know. Yeah, I've had a conversation with some of them, and I looked like I'm isolated. You know, when I saw the president and the deputy president land in Gathoni, just after I voted no, and spoke in a way to tell my people, because Gathoni, your MP voted no, you're not going to get roads, you're not going to get maendeleo. I was like, come on. You are coming to tell my people that they're not going to get roads because I voted no? Is doing a road in Gathoni a token that you're giving me for free? No, we pay taxes. And by the way, if there are people who pay a lot of taxes, it's the people of Gathoni because they are milk producers. And they milk a lot of milk. They produce a lot of milk. And that milk is taxed heavily. We are the biggest contributor in that tax basket. So you can't come and tell me because I voted no, I cannot get a road. Kwani road inapatianwa kama peremende? No. Roads are part of the development that I vote for in budget in parliament. And I can say no to a finance bill, not because the whole finance bill is rotten or it's bad, but there's one aspect of that finance bill that I don't like. And I have the freedom to vote no if I tell you to remove and you don't remove. Last year's parliament, finance bill, I voted no because of my farmers. Because I felt the finance bill was very punitive to e-teams. You remember the e-team?
Yes.
That e-team thing was targeting my farmers. And I felt like I cannot go and pass that finance bill when it has a punitive aspect to my farmers.
Yeah.
I voted no because I realized that finance bill put a lot of taxes on papers that are used for my tea packers. I have tea packers in my constituency who pack a lot of tea for value addition. I voted no, and I actually even complained even in the party. I said, you know, for me, I can't pass that finance bill. And people were called in State House, by the way, to go and discuss tea without me. And they went and debated on how they're going to improve on packing materials for tea. When the people left, the final Finance Act, the one that the court dropped, had the same taxes the president promised my farmers he has removed. You know where the problem is? The president promises, but he's not the one who passes. So he's just doing PR, but there are people behind him who are messing him up big time.
You've talked about the taxes.
Yeah.
Let's discuss now the budget and all this fiscal conversation after this short commercial break. I can see your questions on our SMS line 22047. Our WhatsApp number will also be on your screens shortly. We are back in a few minutes with the Honorable Gathoni Wamuchomba. Stay with us. Done.
Hey there, friends. Welcome to Kids on the Block, where fun and imagination come alive. We dive into magical world filled with exciting adventures and awesome friends.
What position were you in? I was number 2.
What position were you?
Number 1.
He decided to cross the bridge by his house and look for food on the other side.
We're going to do half cup of chocolate chips, and the other one we're going to do half cup of the blueberries.
So, grab your imagination hats and get ready to explore with us. Join us every Saturday at 9 a.m. for new friends, amazing stories, and tons of laughter.
Join us as we explore the journeys of those who defy the odds and break barriers. We dive deep into the stories of triumph.
Sometimes when parenting a child with a special need or whatever disability, family life becomes a bit complicated and you may end up raising the child on your own.
Here, we inspire.
I have a farm which one we showcase with other dyslexic youths and
Welcome back. You're watching the Daily Report. My guest is still the Honorable Dr. Gathoni Wamuchomba, Member of Parliament for Githunguri constituency, Chairperson of CIOC in the National Assembly. I've got a question here. Ask Wamuchomba if they have so far summoned the IG or CS in charge on the unconstitutional handling of the protests by the police. A police which should be a service, not a force.
Yeah, yes, we have. We have already done some summon.
Have they appeared?
And they promised to appear in the next 14 days.
Okay. From when?
I guess when they come, they will execute. Allow me not to dwell deeper because that's parliamentary. You should get the reports from the parliament.
From the parliament.
Yeah, but we are on the job. We are working. We are doing what we're supposed to do as members of parliament.
And the committee.
And the committee, yes.
So now Finance Act 2023, which is a fallback after the dropping of the Finance Bill 2024, was declared unconstitutional.
Yeah.
So should we go back to Finance Act of 2022?
Definitely, yes, because we cannot work with a vacuum.
With a vacuum.
Yeah.
So when you look at how the country has been, so these are two budget-making processes, fiscal procedures.
Yeah.
The two of them that the Kenya Kwanza government has come up with, that are the first one denied by the people, the second one declared unconstitutional by the courts. What is the problem? Why is it that there seems something is not being gotten right?
I want to be very honest with you, and I hope my party leader is watching me or listening to me, because I would love him to hear me on this one. It cannot be that the only two bills you have presented to the nation are erroneous. It cannot be that the only two bills to raise money and to help you plan the fiscal environment of this country have a problem. It cannot be that 99% of the people who presented their opinion and submissions through public participation were wrong. 99% who said they do not want the bill in 2023. And then you oversee that, do what you want to do against what they have told you, and they are the people who are described in this constitution as sovereign. Then you proceed to the next year, preceding year, present another proposal, which people overwhelmingly reject. Then there must be a problem with your advisors. There must be a problem with your treasury. There must be a problem with your members of parliament who come to you to advise you, who give you ideas. There must be a problem. It cannot be that 2 years, subsequent years, people are saying no to your financial proposal. It means either you're not consulting enough, it means your styles of presenting whatever you're presenting are wrong, it means you're not explaining to the people what is it that you want to achieve, and people are not moving with you.
Let
me tell you,
yeah.
I was once a teacher.
Yeah, okay.
When I was a very young girl, straight from the university, I went for my teaching practice. And the class that I was given had more mature boys and girls than myself because I looked a small girl. And I was given that class. After that class, I had rioted against the teacher who was ahead of me. And then I realized for me to win these students to myself, I needed to communicate to them why they need to agree to the policy of the school so that they can continue with their learning. It took me almost a month for me to stop my lesson plans to communicate to the students why, the word why, they need to calm down so that we can continue with the syllabus. And that was the end of riots in that school. I was a very little girl. I remember the head teacher called me, the headmaster, and told me, you are the magic in this school. You came and talked to the student and they listened to you and they have moved with you to where we want you to go.
Okay.
The president may present what we don't want because the country probably requires a lot of finances. But the president needs to know that he needs to convince to the people of Kenya so convincingly so that they can bear the pain and move with him.
Okay, let's listen.
That to me is a serious goof. Very serious goof.
Okay.
He may need, even after he come up with a new cabinet, even after he comes up with all those policies I've seen trying to appease, to please the Gen Zs. I have seen he has tried to add more money on TVET. He has tried to add money on value addition programs. He's introducing kazi kwa vijana. He's really trying to please the Gen Z. But pleasing the Gen Z without proper communication is all waste. And I can tell you this.
Okay.
You cannot present a TVET program and you are not explaining to them what would be this TVET program for. Why am I putting, for example, 14-point-something billion, which I was prepared to tell you what it is that the revised budget has done for the Gen Z so that they can also understand that we are also concerned about their issues. But there's a big problem because we are not explaining to the people, why are we introducing e-teams, for example? Must you wait for the farmers to protest so that you can come and tell them, e-team is doing this and this and this? For example, the mother and the father who is watching me today, right now, if you ask them what is e-team, they believe they say it is a Ruto's way of getting our money. They don't see as a way of growing the economy, no. So there's a very serious problem, and I don't know why President Ruto collapsed presidential delivery unit. Those were the people who are tasked with going out to the people, educating the people on what is it that the government is doing, what is the president intending to do, so that when he introduces something, for example, why did he just collapse Linda Mama without telling us what is it that we are going to replace to Linda Mama? Gathoni, as a member of parliament, may know what is it that we are doing to replace Linda Mama. But does that woman in the village who had a Linda Mama facility understand what is it that we are doing?
In all this,
so to me, I see a big gap, a gap of somebody who is thinking and overthinking for this country, a gap of somebody who is planning and over-planning for this country, ambitiously wanting to achieve, but he's not able to communicate his intent to the people he's leading. And if you're leading people, you must be on the same page with them.
So let's listen to the president. On the 15th of May, he was speaking to students from Harvard Business School who visited him at State House. Let's listen to that bite regarding the taxes.
If we are a serious state, we must be able to enhance our taxes. So my drive is to push Kenya. Possibly this year we will be at 16% from 14%. I want in my term, God willing, to leave it at between 20 and 22%. It's going to be difficult. I have a lot of explaining to do. People will complain, but I know finally they will appreciate that the money we go to borrow from the World Bank is savings of other countries. We have to begin to live within our means. If we look at our peers, and you know, Kenyans have been socialized to believe that they pay the highest taxes. But empirical data shows Kenya as of last year, our tax as a percentage of our revenues was 14%. Our peers in the continent is on average between 22 and 25%, which means we are way below, our taxes are way below those of our peers.
Mheshimiwa, you've listened to the president. He said he has a lot of explaining to do. It's what you're talking about.
He admits.
Okay. So then all these plans that the Kenya Kwanza manifesto, your party came along with, involved money, and of course the money was going to come from the taxes. Are these taxes? Taxes are not a bad idea.
Oh, of course.
In 2002, between 2002 and 2007, President Kibaki said, tulipe ushuru tujitegemee, and Kenyans rallied behind him.
Yeah.
Why is it a problem that the Kenyans do not seem to rally behind the president who is telling them that they are this and this and this?
Like I said, the president may mean well. He ambitiously would want to transform this country. In fact, I don't even think he sleeps, thinking of how he's going to pay these debts, thinking of how he's going to deliver the promises he overpromised during his campaigns.
Okay.
But for me, my problem is that the presidential delivery unit is not, and his communication team, they are not able to package the presidential vision and processes of delivery to the wananchi. And whenever there is a breakdown of communication, even in a family, even in a marriage, that marriage collapses. There is no system that is intact without communication. Communication is the gel between the leaders and the led community. If you do not communicate, even for me as a member of parliament, I must constantly go to my ground and communicate. Why am I introducing school feeding program? For what purpose is it? How much money am I spending? If you don't do that, people will start guessing. Oh, she's using 100 million, she's using 200 million, and maybe you're using 10 million. So I think the president needs to sit down and audit his communication style, his communication process, his communication platforms, and his audience. He may need to redefine his audience. Is standing on top of the car roof and explaining a government program and policy the best way to communicate? Is going to church after the preacher has preached, before Sadaka or after Sadaka, the right time for you to tell people about TVETs? And are the people who are supposed to be told about TVETs in that room? You know, I'm a communication expert. I can tell you there's a serious problem, and that must be sorted out. Otherwise, look at what he has said there. He has said, I would want to leave this country when our VAT is at 22%.
22.
To 2022. But he has not been given the opportunity because he was speaking in a forum and the media captured that, but he was not given an opportunity to explain why would he want to move from 16% VAT to 22%. So the person who is watching him and probably he's struggling with a loan, maybe the auctioneers are at your door and then you hear the president saying, I would want to move the taxation capping from 14 to 22. Will they not riot? Will they not react? They will react. So that is why presidents are advised to have a very serious communication team which packages what the president delivers to the people and delivers to the right audience that is going to be the gatekeepers to that information and agenda setters to entrench that communication to the people that are going to receive. That is the audience. So I believe, for example, the president, when he decided that he's going to work with his MPs to slash budgets, add more money to JSS teachers, 120.7 billion, 31.3 billion to HELB, that's a lot of money, 16.2 billion to health, 3.5 billion to security officers to add their salaries. He needed to come out, not him. Communication doesn't have to come from the president all the time. Explain to Kenyans, why are we adding 3.5 billion shillings to the police salaries? Now there are people, when I was coming in, I stopped somewhere at a place called Dumberi. Nikanunua ngara, you know ngara? Ile mahindi?
Yes.
Huyo mtu mwenye aliniuzia ngara hapo aliniuliza, wewe, nilisikia president anaongeza polisi 3.5 billion. Ndio watu uwe kabisa. You know. Na ni kijana mdogo, you know, I had to correct him, nikamwambia hii ni kitu ilikuwa imeahidiwa wakati wa campaign. Wakati tulikuwa tunaomba kura, tulikuwa tumesema tutaongeza wa polisi. Kwa hivyo lazima tutimize. Akasema, why now? Where are we adding them now when they are killing our children, our daughters and our sons? You know? And let me tell you, that is the same information people have. But nobody has come out to explain to Kenyans why are we adding 3.5 billion to security officers as salaries.
As salaries.
Why are we adding more money to, for example, help? It is because probably we did not do our best, and that is why maybe the Gen Zs are annoyed. So we need to make sure that we feel the promise. But you see, you just can't add, and then you go to Narok, or you go to wherever, in a public baraza, and the people you have in that baraza, most of them are hired crowd. They did not come to listen to you. No, they came to clap for you because at the end of the day, they will be paid by somebody. And then you expect that communication to spread to the whole country, and the country is with you. No, no. Communication doesn't go like that. Okay. And in communication, you do not select the audience. No, you pick natural crowd, natural audience. If you want to be effective in communication, don't select audience. No, go and feed natural audience information. It will be assimilated.
Yeah, before we move on, he's the president, he's your party leader.
Yeah.
Have you tried telling him this?
Sasa wewe nilikwambia hata kwa WhatsApp usiko, alafu sasa unaniuliza nini?
But you know you have his number.
Of course I have his number, but you see now, because I voted no for the first finance bill, I don't call myself as a buddy that I would call and say this. Probably, maybe he can't even pick my call.
Are you concerned of being quote unquote the rebel in the party?
I've seen a lot of, even the other day I saw a newspaper writing the rebel within. I am not a rebel. Oh, okay. Surely I am just opinionated. I am just true to myself.
Okay.
That's the honest me. Unfortunately, when I went into politics, there's a mzee who told me, I don't think you'll survive in politics because you're too honest to be in politics. And I told him, I am honest to be in politics because I want to change the game. And I am there to change the game.
Talking about honesty, what's happening on the mountain?
The mountain is rattled. Yes.
Why is that?
Because the mountain was over-expectant. The mountain expected to get pampered because we gave out our vote to somebody who was outside our box. You know our box?
Yes.
So the mountain wanted to be treated like a bride. You know the way a bride is treated, with favors. We wanted to be pampered, only for us to get married and find ourselves on the corridor. Have you ever read of a story of a bride who was married? Beautiful wedding, colorful wedding, pomp and color. Then immediately after the wedding, it fizzles. That is where we are. The mountain never expected that we are going to form a government and give our votes as many as we did, 47%, and get this kind of bashing and treatment. Yeah. But I think I saw that coming.
You saw it coming?
Yeah, I saw it coming a long time ago.
So is this Kikuyu unity?
The mountain, let me tell you who the mountain is.
Yes.
The mountain is that bride you must have money to pamper for you to sustain the relationship. The mountain is that very expensive bride that you married, and she has to do her nails, has to do her expensive weave, whether you have the money or not. Yes.
So is Kikuyu unity becoming a faraway dream?
A faraway dream? No. In fact, the tougher it's become, the more stronger the community becomes. Yeah. So I expect to see a more solidified voice of the Kikuyus, or rather of the mountain. Let me say the mountain because the mountain are Kikuyus and many other small tribes.
Yes.
The more squeezed they become, the more scared they become, the more threatened they feel, the more isolated they feel, the more they solidify. So in 2027, I see a more solidified mountain than ever. Yes. Yes.
So who will be, is there, just like the Gen Z who have no leader, is the lack of a kingpin causing all this?
Who said we don't have a kingpin?
Who is the kingpin?
But we've had the kingpin forever. Our kingpin has not changed. Has he?
Who is it?
Uhuru Kenyatta is our kingpin. Yes. Uhuru Kenyatta is our kingpin. We have not changed our kingpin.
This kingpin that you've not seen in public limelight for a while.
It doesn't have to be. Even when he became the kingpin, he was not even the president, by the way. The day we declared him the kingpin, he was not the president. He was not even at a strategic position.
So is he guiding this so-called mountain?
No, he has not guided for a long time, and that is why the mountain is franchised.
Disenfranchised.
Yeah, disenfranchised, that's the word I was looking for. So I think it's not fair for us to say we don't have a kingpin. It's only fair to say that with time, the mountain will solidify.
Okay.
It will come back to one. Yes.
The visible figure from the mountain would be the second in command, but now there is talk of his impeachment.
I don't want to speak about those whole stories of impeachment and because I think those are political gimmicks, and I think I posted it sometimes in X, and I saw a lot of excitement and reaction. I said, to me, I'm thinking this whole rumor of impeachment, rumor of we are going to arrest MPs that are associated with the deputy president because they sponsored Gen Z protests. The stories of, oh, we are going to undo so-and-so in the party, we are removing so-and-so in the party. I think to me, all this is a decoy to silence the protesters and their noise and to kind of cover up the issues that the protesters have been talking about. That, to me, I think there is no solid reason as to why we should say that we are impeaching or we are. I am just thinking it's a style or a way of cover. It's a cover-up. Yeah. And whether we impeach or we don't impeach, the Gen Zs have said it. Something is wrong in this country. The Gen Zs have told us they are tired of our corruption politics. The Gen Zs have told us they are tired of those historical politics of Sijui, Nyanza working with the Central and Central working with Rift Valley and Rift Valley working with Coast. You know, those balancing tactics. Yeah. These Gen Zs have told us they don't care about party, they don't care about tribes. And that is why, by the way, to me, hii maneno ya cabinet, I'm not bothered. Whether they put, whoever they put, I'm not bothered in terms of tribe. Yeah. No.
Okay.
Let them put whoever it is, as long as that person is going to work for Kenyans, that person is a Kenyan, and that person has the meritorious achievement for them to serve. You know, they have the qualifications, they have integrity, qualifying them to serve. To me, that's my issue. Yeah, my issue is that I don't care how many Kikuyus are in that cabinet, because even previously we've had many Kikuyus in that cabinet. Have they delivered to us? Are we still crying of victims? Are we still crying of taxation? Are we still crying of money being reallocated from this budget to this supplementary budget? The same issues we've had when we really needed help are the same problems we have when we have cabinet secretaries who comes from the mountain. So for me, it doesn't matter. Because even when they were there, we were still crying. Even now, we still continue crying. The problem is not the cabinet secretaries, like I said. The problem is bigger than cabinet secretaries.
Let's have some feedback. Some comments have come in on SMS before you end up, because I have a few minutes before you end up. You didn't say your name, but says on our SMS platform, we can't move on with the president because state money and property is stolen left and right. I'd like to combine the issues of your constituency into one. So someone asks, ask Mathe, when will she bring ICT hubs to our wards? When will Githunguri TTI be operationalized? It has been lying idle for 2 years now.
That's not true.
Okay.
Yeah, TTI is already functional. We already have learners in it. I have already put computers into the place. I put chairs and desks into the place. We already have 4 teachers posted in the TTI, and it is functional and moving.
It is functional.
Yeah, I actually even have already paid bursaries for the first cohort of learners from Githunguri.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
How
Number
about
2, he has asked
the
about the ICT hubs.
Yes.
The ICT hubs are coming. Every ward will get 1 ICT. But as we speak right now, we still don't have the money. Every other constituency, not only Githunguri, We don't have the money. We are waiting for the money. Once the money is in, and our proposals are taken in, and remember we have to do public participation in every ward, then we start moving with the project.
Okay, still on your constituency, Moses Waweru. Talking of roads, ask Mheshimiwa why the road from Nyambari, Lari, Githunguri has never been made for many years. Very impassable road.
That road has been under construction for the last 9 years. It was started on 9 years ago. President Ruto, when he was the deputy, is the one who came to launch that road, I think in 2018, I remember. But it had already been started.
Okay.
One of the reasons why I have been very upset in Parliament is because President Ruto had promised during campaigns that every project he finds, having been started by his predecessor, he's going to give them priority to complete. The Mau Mau roads, a road like that, Githunguri Uplands Road, and many other projects that he found already started. Unfortunately, when we went for the first finance bill, money was put in new roads, abandoned the old roads and incomplete roads project, and pumped money in new projects. And that is one of the reasons why I have been saying no, because you cannot come and start fresh roads, yet the old roads have not been done.
Okay.
Yeah. So that is one of the projects, and every time I make noise a little, the contractor comes back on site for 2 months. He's promised to be given money. He doesn't get any money. He packs off and leaves. So he comes and does sections, 200 meters, tarmac, and then he disappears. He comes again, 200 meters, and disappears. And that's not only in Githunguri, it is everywhere. Yeah, and that is why people are complaining, because, I mean, what happened to our Mau Mau roads in central Kenya?
Okay.
All the roads, including the Ken Omarwa road, we were supposed to have finished and commissioned. We still have patches of those roads not done.
There is Barbatov from Githunguri. What plans are there for Kibichoi Police Station?
Kibichoi Police Station is my next project.
Okay.
It's really pathetic. I've already done what was really pressing, that was Ikinu Police Station, and I've finished. So I am hoping that my next financial year, actually for the next 2 financial years, I'm going to allocate money for Kibichoi Police Station.
Indeed. I am James from Komothai. What plans does Mhesh have regarding to construction of modern toilets at Gathoni Primary School and upgrading of Kibichoi Police Station? I think you've handled the police
Gathoni
station.
Primary School, when I came in as an MP, I found a pending bill. And I had first of all to clear pending bill for the first financial year.
Okay.
And I can't clear pending bill in the same school and do a fresh project in the same financial year. It will be flagged. So they'll have to wait for me to come back now next financial year.
Okay.
And if there is a dire need for us to do it, then we can do it.
Kennedy Ariembi.
And I think that the school has already presented their request. I've seen their request. But unfortunately, because they had a very huge pending bill that was left by my predecessor, I have to pay the pending bill.
Before you start
because in CDF, we normally don't have pending bills. We make sure we clear all pending bills before you start a fresh project.
Okay.
Yeah.
Kennedy Ariembi from Embakasi Feather. What's a view on term and age limits for all elective and appointment offices?
60.
60.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
And I wonder why the president is recycling leaders into cabinet appointments, yet the Gen Zs clearly stated they want at least at the age of 60 you retire so that you can give them the opportunity. So for me, I think on that one, I support the Gen Z.
Absolutely.
60 enda ukalime, ama wende ukafanye consultancy. Yeah, hata mimi siko mbali sana.
Uko mbali. Hapa. So, Mheshimiwa, I mean, we are...
The other day, the Gen Zs, I don't know what I wrote. No, I saw them analyzing people's ages. So I said, hey, these Gen Z are just the real deal. How old am I? Oh, you should have seen the kind of comments I got. Some were calling me ancestor, vintage buddy.
So where do you fall? Which category?
I wonder. Look at my face, just judge by my face.
Judge by your face.
No, I was told by somebody, by the way, you don't use the face to judge. You look at the hands.
And the knuckles.
And the knuckles.
So, Mheshimiwa...
I don't know whether I am a vintage or I'm an ancestor. I don't know.
Mheshimiwa, I'd like you to speak to Kenyans on the national issues as well as your closing remarks as well, looking at the budget and what way forward. You know, in a minute or two, especially, and this is your camera, to be able to speak to Kenyans even as we bid them a good night.
I want to, first of all, thank the young people of Kenya for taking charge and realizing that your future generation matters. We are sorry as your parents and as your elder sisters and brothers for letting you down. You clearly pointed it out during your demos and your protests that we have let you down. Thank you for coming out to the space and telling us exactly what we didn't want to hear. Now that you have told us, you also need to come out and tell us how you want us to achieve to the deliverables that you have given us as your political class and as your parents. We also want to remind you that your life matters. So whatever it is that we are going to do, remember that life is precious. We also want to remind the ruling class and the political class that Kenya is a country that is governed by the rule of law. This constitution must be respected. We must operate within the framework of this constitution. And therefore, if we want a Kenya tomorrow governed by the rule of law, we must abide by this constitution. I also want to remind the advisors and the planners of the economy of Kenya that even as you plan, even as you advise and come up with your proposal, remember Kenya is for all of us. The over 50 million Kenyans, we belong here. We deserve to be included into the plans. We needed to be consulted on your plans, and we need to be convinced on their plans so that we can all move together. Remember, Kenya is the pride of democracy in Africa. We must struggle and strive to uphold democracy in this country. Thank you very much. Woman for the job.
Woman for the job. Which job?
You ask?
Yes.
I have many jobs. I told you I'm a Mathe. I have to do the job of Mathe in Githunguri like never before. I am a consultant. I have to do my consultancy in the media like never before. I am a leader, a woman leader. I have to carry the women with me like never before. I am a mother, including of those Gen Zs. I must carry them and advise them and protect them and defend them like never before. That is why I say I'm always the woman for the job.
For the job.
Yes.
Indeed. And of course, some news in. We would like to congratulate Faith Kipyegon and Beatrice Chebet, who brought Kenya's first goal in Paris with winning the 5,000 women's final. So, Mheshimiwa, where is the place of women? Women. Where is the voice of women, especially from the mountain, in all these discussions? Are they involved?
In terms of sports or athletics?
In the national conversation of
we are there. We are present. We may have had another generation of women who are now like going down, but there is another new generation of women that are coming up, the Wamuchombas. Yes. So we are there.
You're there?
Yes, we are there. We are present.
Woman for the job.
Woman for the job.
We shall be finding out which job this is.
And Githunguri wanasema Mathe.
Mathe.
And then you know what I normally do? When they call me Mathe, I normally wear long dresses. So I swing my dress like that, and then I touch my kakofia, and the boys love it.
And this is the dress you are with in Githunguri?
Yeah. Have you seen it?
Yeah, sure.
This is the dress. Let me stand here. The dress. This is how,
and you can go to the front.
Here, where? Which camera? Yeah. This one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So every time I go to the village and we do everything and we finish, and then the jeshi is the boys, the young boys in the village. So naambia so kwa heri Mungu awabariki. Wanasema Mathe. Alafu nafanya hivi.
Mheshimiwa, quite an hilarious evening we've had with Honorable Dr. Gathoni Wamuchomba, Member of Parliament for Githunguri constituency. I am George Maringa. I wish you a good night. You can also wish them a good night.
Thank you. I wish you a lovely night.
And
Peace.
Of course, stay safe and be kind to one another.
Thank you.
Tonight was quite